They were in a similar position the third game. ADC bans aplenty. What does iBoy do? He whips out the Vayne. This time around, the Caitlyn making it through for the first time in this series. It's got to raise up in priority here and be picked up at least by one of these teams, as Corki, too much of a titan here in this series so far to be let go, and RA pick at first pick.
Yeah, Puff and SouthWind could look for a strong bot lane here. TT, you know, jungle options being hovered through. But Caitlyn, you know, just a good takeaway from iBoy, as you're mentioning. And this needs a good pairing. A lot of the time in the LPL, we get the Lux that comes through. Our Morgana even rarer. So that might just be left to the wayside with plenty of options. And the Vex this early on kind of tells you that TT are changing how they're going to play this game through.
Yeah, and definitely with the way that you have to play, it feels like when you draft the Caitlyn, where you're looking for that lane dominance, you gotta have a little bit of stability in your solo lanes as well, because I do expect Chieftain to be highlighting that Caitlyn, to be highlighting Puff here, as we have seen them be able to find success when they do play through that bot lane. But it is the response from RA that is in question now, as they lock into Zhao for Leyan again. And there's still those high priority ADCs on the table, Jinx included, if they want to go that avenue for it and see if they can combat that Caitlyn dominant lane a little bit.
I think in this series, draft hasn't really been a problem for RA. And they're switching it up. We're getting, you know, pretty standard scaling composition with the S tier picks and 3 roles. So for RA, they've shown they're flexible. The problem has been within the game itself, where RA's decision-making mid-game has been atrocious in front of these Barons. I look at this and I go, okay, RA, you know, great picks, but it's not really the questions I'm going to be asking. I think more so, TT's drafts have given them a lot more options, and I'm kind of excited to see this one here already building on the skirmishes early on with Vex, Caitlyn, Lee Sin. And I'd start banning out things that can kind of help you with the engage. Lux also, something that pairs up nicely with Caitlyn that they didn't decide to pick in the first rotation.
And I want to adjust a little bit, because I feel like an important factor into this series, even though we were setting up the jungle matchup, the mid matchup especially being a stable point, it's been this top lane that I feel like has dictated a lot of what we see in that mid game. Sure. The first time around, we had New on the Gragas, and he was pivotal to getting those team fights off the ground. Last game, Cube was literally unkillable. So this saving the solo lane, top lane for last year is super important for TT to try and get a lane that feels good for them, as we do see the bans in the second phase go for the Graves and the Scion on TT's side, the Lux and Karma on RA, and Gragas the third time in a row for TT.
Yeah, so New returning to this one is fine. Again, leaving last pick towards support when they don't want to pick up something like the Nautilus. Their options like the Lux, Karma taken away. It is going to be about playing towards this bottom side, and UCAL 6 is also going to help influence that depending on how Dragon fights go. We can talk more about that as we get in, because for Rare Adam, this looks pretty standard. I'm looking at a team fighting comp of 5v5, now with Gnar as well. The situational engage added on top. I like RA's comp. It's simple, it's easy to run. It revolves around Cube, who's been having a really good time already. And I don't know, this would be a bit of a punch in Puff and SouthWind, something that can kind of deal with the range and have great semi-global presence as well, but I don't know how legit it is from Yu and Zhao. Just do it anyway.
Follow for the cover. Yeah, just do it anyways. I just feel like we're running into a lot of the same situation that we had in game number 1, where the bar of execution was the big question, but this time it's TT that need to be on the executing pattern, because I feel like RA have themselves a much more stable draft, as the final pick is the Braum to be matched up with the Caitlyn.
Yeah, okay, so we get a bit more defensive in that lane, but still, you want to see Caitlyn fall ahead in lane. Fall, probably not the right word, Mazel. Fly ahead, probably a lot better. Because if we get to the late game stage, it looks pretty easy for RA to get their 5v5. There's a lot of, I guess, simplified engage with Nautilus, Zhao, situational with the Gnar in mega form as well. We're on the other side for TT. Great pick potential once again, but I want to see Puff snowball ahead. I want to see this Caitlyn, even the Vex, in comfortable positions around the first couple of neutrals and start snowballing with a lead, because if they get to late game, then they're just going to be outranged by iBoy, by Strive, and depending on UCAL to hit ulti and get huge AoE effects, because apart from that, it's like, well, your damage will not be anywhere near the comparison of Rare Adam.
And it's so fitting that we get this as our final game with the compositions that we have, right? We were putting a lot of bucket, at least a lot of eggs in the bucket of Strive himself in the carry potential in the mid lane. iBoy, as well as the dual carry now with the Corki and the Jinx on the other side. Now pretty much putting everything into Puff and SouthWind, being able to manhandle that lane and have it transition to the mid game that we have seen has been a struggle for RA. And I think that TT have a plan of attack that works for what we've seen from RA today. But again, back to the bar of execution, and it's in TT's hands at this point. And on the side of RA, just kind of waiting and having that stacking favor in your side and having that dual carry performance from iBoy and from Strive is going to be so important as we load onto the Rift for our final game of the first series. Will RA walk away with a win, or will TT get their second series of the year under their belts? We'll find out shortly.
Comes out to these laning phase, doesn't it? For TT, again, the point stands. Puff and UCal, important carries there. And you can see that UCal has taken Ignite and Electrocute into this mid lane. So he definitely wants presence over Strive. And that's why for Chieftain as well, with Doom and Gloom up and available, I think Doom is the fear from memory. Chieftain has a bit of access to Strive, depending on positioning in the line.
And those resets are going to be so important, especially with the way the damage profile is set up on TT's side. We saw in game number 1, New was just that extra body in the front line, the cast to set up the picks. But that's going to be very, very important now with the concussive blows from SouthWind as well. You do not want to get caught by this TT squad.
Yeah, strong level 1. Winter's Bite will be the start. So as TT manhandle their way in, RA are matching the 4v4.
They are. We could get a little scuffle over this
Leyan
red buff Chieftain. Yeah, they're going to walk in here because they feel like they can. It is concussive blows level 1 for SouthWind, but he is the first to flash away and only gets the connection onto Yuyanja when all 4 attacks don't even go off. And it will be RA able to turn away from this. Oh my god, they're going to commit to this. Level 2 for Chieftain already achieved, but the Sonic Wave does not connect.
No, Puff has to burn the heal in the end as well. SouthWind burnt the flash in the engage, so we got a couple of summoners now down in the bottom lane, but overall, I like that RA started on the Krugs. Excuse me. What are they? Chickens? Yeah, Raptors. We got there in the end.
Chicken nuggies.
So, start there. Nets Leyan level 2, and kind of scares TT out a little bit. His dredge line.
Not level 2 just yet, though. Concussive blows will be back onto him. Yuyanja can't get, or will get away from the 4th shot, though. iBoy has to be careful himself. Puff can layer in those shots really quickly and get those concussive blows stacked up very, very quick as well. iBoy nicely layering in the fishbones damage, though.
I'd say, yeah, in response, I mean, lethal tempo is a hell of a rune versus fleet footwork for Puff. He'll have to sustain in the lane, but for iBoy, the trading ends up with the net win with Yuyanja dropping himself into the anchor. So now RA going to do a bit of a cheeky recall here to get an advantage from the longsword start where iBoy got 12 CS. I think we should be double longsword. Yep, so bit of extra damage with some more sustain added to the RA 80 carry.
I'll look back at that bot lane in just a little bit, but we have both junglers up towards this top side now. Chieftain looking on the offensive towards the Scuttle Crab as well. Has UCal here because of the priority in mid lane. And it will be that first little bit going over to Chieftain. Leyan going towards this top side. We'll spot that out finally and path towards this bottom side now.
So I want to kind of amend what I talked about with TT. I think the priority here for Chieftain is keeping UCal safe. Leyan getting an opportunity into the Vex's lane. Gives Strive that comfortable, that comfort, I should say, into getting to these Corki points of the game. So Leyan spotted on it for a deep ward, and that's a priority from TT. They've put in some deep vision to make sure UCal is even safer. Chieftain nearby on his red buff, and there's nothing really that Leyan can do while UCal continues to have the priority over this lane as you expect with the rune and summoner choice.
And I want to do a check-in on this bottom lane. We've seen SouthWind and Yuyanja just out and about so far in this match, and we see them constantly pressuring this mid lane with roams as well. Will end up in RA's favor towards that bottom side, though, as they got the Scuttle Crab, but now SouthWind wants to continue to push up the pressure here as Chieftain swoops in and steals the Chicky Nuggies.
Nicely done. Leyan just has to back away, and this comes from the mid lane pressure once again. Strive's not able to add anything, and UCal is sorting him out just a little bit. So nice here from TT, but I'm kind of looking at the top of the standings, the top of the scoreboard. What do you want to call it? The banner. There's a 500 gold lead over to RA. Now, as this little banner goes down with the Corki win rate that I don't really care about, I'm going to look and see where that is. Look top, look bot. Mazel, that's huge already from both iBoy, who made that recall to get the double longsword. Of course, it is a big wave pushing in. But top side for Cube, once again in this series, having a bit of a powwow.
And it's making you question a little bit of the priority that TT are putting on Gragas for New. We have seen New being able to whip out a plethora of champions, and a lot of them being of more the aggressive style. But the Gragas is the commitment today from TT. And so far ain't working out for them, at least just yet in this third game. But again, it's that overall advantage in that top side that can be played through, but TT capitalize on this bottom side focus and on Puff and SouthWind having a little bit of pressure to get this dragon.
Yeah, first dragon here for TT is going to be nice. iBoy going to spot this out though with wards, so while Leyan is up towards the top side of the map, his pathing down will mean absolutely nothing for now. So Chieftain begins exactly where we thought he would. And I was wrong about bot lane, guys. I think it is actually more even than I let on. As iBoy going to get hit pretty hard.
It's hard to not be dominant as a Caitlyn in the bot lane right now. And oh my god, even with the Pilt over Peacemaker, with the Ignite as well, iBoy sub 200 health. Pilt over Peacemakers can do some work early on with the damage they put out. And again, TT working excellently with what this lane is supposed to do.
And Chieftain's here. He has flash available, and there's going to be a lot of damage out of the pickaxe Lee Sin. TT, they want to dive this Mazel.
It is a Nautilus. iBoy and Yuyanja realize what could be happening as the opposite side is being taken over by Leyan. Will back off. iBoy gets his back off as well, and the tower plates go into Puff's pot.
So while that happens in the bottom lane, it is RA who make the response with Leyan topside. I want to give a bit of credit to New on Gragas, who I think both games has been pretty decent with his ult usage in team fights. Cube, of course, on the Gnar, you know, going to have a good time up there into old Graggy. So able to build space, continue with the matchup, and do what he should be doing. And while he's winning topside, just remember, it is always a trade. Puff is so strong in this bottom lane now. Despite iBoy getting that back before, now having a Noon Quiver, there's two summoners that have been picked up.
This is a moment, though. This is huge. Noon Quiver is there, and Yuyanja pulls the trigger, but actually backs away because there's a lot of people missing from TT because you got 4 people headed down. Yeah, look at Strive and look at Leyan, though. They are bolting it down here to try to save iBoy and Yuyanja. They will make it in time and spot out UCal Chieftain as they go for the dive, and immediately TT pull away as that was very, very close. Shockwave. Oh my goodness, the 90 caliber net didn't connect.
Yeah, that was close to Yuya and Zhao just disrespecting Puff's limited amount of burst here in this lane. I like that RA make the movement down in the bottom lane when UCal was about to set up, missing from the mid, and Strive doesn't even take the time to walk back to his own lane. Instead, resets and walks down to the bottom. So nice little response here from RA to stop the dive, because essentially with top going so well for Cube, this is exactly what you want. Nothing to happen in that Caitlyn lane. iBoy to get as close to CS as he can with the range discrepancy and pull yourself off a more elevated early game, thanks to how calmly it's gone against a team that definitely wants to snowball the lead.
And I would expect now the big focus for both teams up towards this top side of the map with the Rift Herald being spawned. We do have Dragon in 2.5 minutes, but again, it's more so this Rift Herald because that unlocks so much. If TT get it, they can funnel it into Puff and SouthWind. If you can get it for RA, you can put more resources into Cube, who has a 20 CS lead, or you can try to get one of these dual carries ahead in this bottom lane or the mid lane. See RA taking position in the mid lane, try to keep that priority there. They put their focus on Leyan as the engager. He is the one that's level 6. Yuyanja does not have depth charge just yet.
Well, I want to kill. All I care about now is blood, because we've had negative kills at the moment. All these plays set up at no death. And as iBoy moves to the top side, you know, Herald's always a fun time to start it off. No one's attending that bottom side wave whatsoever. So it is going to be a 5v5. Everyone bringing their might here. Noon Quiver actually being matched by Puff as well, which is a big deal. He has his ulti. So does iBoy. SouthWind or Yuya and Zhao without theirs. That's kind of a big deal.
Don't you just love the LPL, Mr. Hysterics? This is just constant. We just always have this fight go down. The Rift Herald resets here, and now TT Need to move in a little bit further. The trap line on the side will stop any flanks, but RA don't want to flank. They want to do the front to back here. Chieftain goes in. It's taken by Puff here. As I cannot believe that out of all of that, Puff is the one that gets the last shot. Now, New with a big cast, and that is going to get TT right out of there.
I'm surprised. I mean, Cube was building up the Mega Gnar bar. That's why I said they had to leave. But in a small little play, Chieftain just walks up. A yoink of the Herald is a very big deal when RA were the one supporting package, but they didn't want to pull the trigger. They were still waiting for Cube to start stacking it up. And a nice little early game build up here from TT on the red side.
And we do have a little bit of a difference here. iBoy and Yuyan just staying towards this top side because they had the huge minion wave, but it is still the top laner up here for TT, New responding to it, and Cube on the opposite side. So we'll have a mismatch for a little longer as Chieftain right back to where he knows it matters. Rift Herald down to the bot lane, and Puff will be supplemented with gold.
He will. Cube can't walk up to this wave with Chieftain hovering around either. So look at Puff. He's about to get first turret blood alongside his jungler. And that's exactly where you want to be funneled in. So for Puff, yeah, that's massive. And he doesn't share the 610 gold. Goes right back into his own pocket. Now 1,000 gold over iBoy in this bottom lane. About to see a completed item. And for TT, this is exactly what you want. Although they don't have the massive gold lead, TT still have their angle of their AD carry in a very comfortable position.
And now the ticket for TT is to move Puff around the map. Continue to get this lane pressure in that the early Caitlyn can have, and especially on that one item spike already as TT secure the second dragon of the game for themselves, and everything just turning up TT right now. iBoy working on his third plate in the top side. Puff will finally be here to answer.
So let's be realistic with the game state, though. As Puff walks out for this, I think Leyan's going to punish him. I mean, that's a 90 caliber net. Puff going forward. Instant regret here. Leyan walking, and the heal burnt away. So RA in response of sending away the enemy AD carry will get a bit more pressure on this top lane turret. And Mazel, I think he's okay. SouthWind is coming up here, so to be fair, ulti now available for the support. They can defend this if they try and dive. They can actually stop them from getting a response turret up here too.
And a lot of people missing from TT's side, so RA realized they might be in a little bit over their head. And TT actually rescue the tower with one plate left. See how that reset comes out for iBoy. Now you've got a fully pushing Puff and SouthWind on the top side as well.
So I wanted to mention what I think about game state, right? Well, Puff is getting this turret and whittling away. Leyan will come in, but I think for RA, they're not really losing out on too much gold. There's still a massive CS difference up in that top lane. You can see that Strive's done pretty well in the laning phase itself too, and iBoy's not too far behind Puff, bar those bits of turret plating, so gold's still even on a composition that is running Jinx Corki, that doesn't really have the tank this time for Cube, but still has a situational front line. Leyan, Cube, Yuyan, Zhao, all going to be acting like it with their engage. And I feel like for RA, it's easy to execute here. We know that there's certain windows with Gnar, but it's going to be a lot harder for TT to pull it off. So I do favor with where the game's at. RA holding off and not making too many mistakes in this early game.
Chieftain still hovering over Puff and SouthWind. They are absolutely playing to this duo down here, and RA made it overextended a little bit. Concussive blow does not connect. 90 caliber net, the opposite way from Puff. The fourth hit does connect on a Uganda, but a kick out means he's safe.
Both ultimates didn't really connect. Chieftain to kick him out and save him, as you said. SouthWind's ulti angled the wrong direction as the flash came through. Now, they burnt all summoners, but look at Cube in the bottom lane. More turret plating taken down, and iBoy was able to stay up in that top side. So for TT, every time one of these plays goes sideways, I worry about how the game's going to develop and how TT are going to move on. So Mazel, a lot of concerns here, like I've had the whole series long. But I will say, I've eaten some apple crumble, a little bit happier.
I like it. You'll have to send me some all the way from Australia. That sounds absolutely wonderful.
Will be off by the time I get to it.
It okay. Will be absolutely, but I will eat it instead just because you sent it to me. But we will see how that all works out. Check it on that, because we do have up here right now a skirmish potentially happening. Sonic Wave connects. He's gonna immediately dredge light out of there. But TT are just looking for a fight here, and that's kind of what they need to do, and make sure they're facilitating Puff just free pushing the side lane.
I mean, there's no objective up and available right now. RA just want to get some vision towards this next upcoming Herald. But I want to point out we have mythics on the board that are going to be changing a lot of this game state. We have a Hullbreaker Gnar for Q. So he's going to be spending his time in the side lane here, and Hullbreaker is just so stat efficient. I've been solo queuing with Rusty. He's been carrying me. It is quite true. But he's been testing Hullbreaker on everything, and the amount of things it works on right now is pretty disgusting.
Actually incredible. It really is. And also the fact that Cube has been winning that side lane push, right? Like ever since game 2, it feels like, but he's on a different champion this time. Yanja gets the connection, but does get concussive blows back onto him. Puff puts a decent amount of damage back. Ace in the hole comes through. Yanja eats it. 300 health left on that Nautilus.
That should mean that for TT, this Herald should be theirs, and kind of a big deal if Puff and SouthWind are able to continue that push with Chieftain at their wing. Importantly enough as well, they've got 2 dragons and Mazel a minute until we get the soul point for TT. So definitely a condition that's going to force RA to fight a little bit earlier than they mean to, and especially when their fight can be conditional on Cube's Gnar. I think forcing them into fighting on TT's terms is always going to be better. So there's still a lot of tools here for TT in this early game that we're going to see play out in the next couple of minutes.
Yeah, and I like that, right? When we're getting that 3rd dragon for TT, we get the 1 Ivy spikes for everybody pretty much. And we'll see as RA moves down this way as well. A lot of pings around this dragon pit. RA's Cube is pushing in the bottom lane. Should get this tower before everything is said and done. But actually, UCal here to answer, but has a lot of wave clear on the Vex as well. So the tower stands. Rest of the team.
Let's just hope we get a fight. Like at some point soon, dude, because I swear, if I fall asleep, I can't be blamed. 16 minutes in.
You got apple crumble. You can't fall asleep.
Of course, after dessert, I'm going to fall asleep. It makes sense. We begin.
There you go. Yanja's in shocking everybody as he dies immediately. Puff just gets the kill on it. Not going to be too much more after that. Cube about halfway on the Mega Gnar bar. Tribe has the package. This is not a fight that TT necessarily need to commit to. It looks like they want to anyway.
I mean, they got numbers advantage. Mega Gnar's just come up, though. That's my concern.
There we go. We go in the pit. Package back, but the health bars from TT are getting a little bit rough here. And it's looking like a party for RA. iBoy is excited, but he can't get UCal on the back end of it. Puff dies to Strive. And RA, you thought they had him, but they didn't.
Mazel, TT's idea of jumping into the pit with a Mega Gnar was about as good as C9's idea to get rid of LS. It feels like RA were gifted that on a silver platter as now a 2-0 Corki and Cube with a massive ultimate. Made it all go away.
Yeah, that's a bit of a rough one for sure, and something that will bring RA to the forefront of this game. As we had said, you know, they're fine having a stable early game. They are scaling. Again, we've seen this combo of the Corki and the Jinx time and time again in the LPL, and it's always terrifying. I don't think there's a single time that it's not. And they will have an advantage going further on, and it's up to TT now to find a way to grasp back into the game.
How, again, Corki Jinx, look at the comp in front of us. Cube has been so good this series. And once again, you know, we're not going to get a replay for a little bit, but we have been given a delightful top laner in what has been a very chaotic series. Cube's Gnar, amazing with the Hullbreaker. He's now picking up his 2nd item well and truly on the way. You can't do too much, and I feel like, yeah, with that gold lead and the Dragon slowing down the stacking from TT, even though it is only a Cloud Soul, was just such a massive win for RA to look favorable in the 3rd game. Mazel, look at this again. We get a nice camera for it, like running into Cube, and there you go.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not much you can do. You're kind of asking for it at that point. Puff trying his darndest at the end of it is not enough. And the composition from PT, the fact that they wanted to go into the pit like that just shows that, you know, they are committed to the fight, but maybe not when they need it.
Well, TT going to get 1 response back in the top side, though. Nice to see UCal getting some solo gold on that outer turret. Cube probably doing the same, though, as he continues pushing in bot. So we've only had 5 kills in 19 minutes, Mazel, but Baron is coming up, and RA have thrown games around it as UCal caught out back in a bad spot. Leyan right on top of it.
That was close, and now 5 minutes is down on UCal's Flash. We'll see Cube taking a 1v2 here. He's not going to be able to go Mega Gnar just yet. He does. Ace in the hole comes in, but he's still tanky. Mega Gnar will be used into the wall there onto Chieftain, and there's no way. He gets out. Are you kidding me, Hysterics?
I don't know, man. Somehow, that's what you hope for. Some kind of reprieve in a situation like this, right? But RA are going to keep pushing down the top side, and yeah, the fact that
just the I get from you, it's so telling.
I don't know, dude. It's so rough here. This series, a real roughie for TT. I feel like, again, you could reflect on game number 2 and talk about how TT could have rolled back in. I mean, RA maybe should have 2-0'd for all that matter as well. Like, this series, I've never reflected more on something than I have on this game. Maybe a mirror, but even then I'm questioning. Good
and
dad
you saw
joke.
there while we were going about it, Puff used his Gale Force forward to try to get iBoy, and iBoy actually burned his heal for it. So getting the summoner spell out to Puff's confidence. We'll see the mid lane return to the spotlight here, though, as we do have some more mythic items being completed across the board.
Yeah, we do. And secondary items as well. iBoy now with the rapid fire cannon. Being able to deal with the range of Puff is huge before the rapid fire gets completed from Puff himself. And we'll have a replay, Mazel, in this 1v3 with Cube. I want to point out, Hull Breaker again. We've talked about how good it is stats-wise. Goes into Gnar, gets the HP level, and there's still not that much damage. Hull Breaker, dude. Doesn't matter.
It's so ridiculous. They had him out. Oh my goodness. What a play, though, for Cube. And that's been the consistent thing all series long is Cube's excellent play, and it's not on one champion. It's on the Renekton. It's on the Scion. And now it's on the Gnar.
Now you realize that this series is going to come down to Baron, though, don't you? Because we know whatever we talk about, doesn't matter if you get an 8k gold lead, it's all down to the Baron. And Rare Adam have package in front of Dragon, in front of a potential Baron, and they want to fight away from the objective.
Strive's got doggy treats, and he's wanting to hand him out to TT. He's handing him out the rockets, though, and then doing some work. Poke there from Strive is huge, but the setup here in front of the Dragon Pit will be all RA, with TT threatening the Baron on the other side, but there's no way they can do it.
Nah, Rocket just a good effect, isn't it? Strive with the package, still zoning off. That's about to time out, so looks like second Cloud Dragon goes over to Rare Adam. And TT heading up towards River, trying to threaten around, but there is the Scuttle Crab that's down for RA. Knowing that, well, TT haven't crossed that line, so we're okay for now.
Tried to fight over the last one, fight over this one. Now 2 dragons secured from RA. The movement speed starting to stack up for him. That gets even scarier against TT, especially when you got to deal with Cube, who can already get out of any situation, seemingly.
Yeah, and now with Divine Sunder as well, that mythic completed is a very big deal in the Gragas matchup as the rest of RA are pummeling down mid. A Chieftain wants a flanking angle, but it's going to be hard.
Out though, that's in division, and he gets immediately Dredgeline. The Dragon Rage kick comes out. Here's the Shadow Search on iBoy. TP behind, but they can't do it. They can't connect the damage onto the carries. Here comes New. The cast is going to be huge. Strive back out, but they can't kill him either. Tilt over Peacemaker goes wide. Cube now into the fight on the flank. Mega Death Rocket connect. You can't hit it, but I can, says iBoy.
All right, but it's going to continue forward because Cube's going into Gnar. RA with a numbers advantage after they take away Chieftain. Strive in from the wing as well. At least mid lane turret going down, and it was TT who tried to start that fight. RA just kite it back, and it's as simple as that when you have yourself Leyan.
That's insane. That turned like TT felt confident there. Chieftain just walked straight into a warded bush. And Yuyan just like, oh, I'll take this hook, no problem. And it all goes downhill from there. We're going to replay it.
All right, so deep in enemy lines, right next to the tier 1 turret. Chieftain's the one angling for a flank as SouthWind's ultis just haven't been hitting this game. I like Leyan's sidestep at the end as well from the kick coming out of the Lee Sin. And it's the burst from Strive that does so much work as New almost sends him into the enemy team, just surviving by the nick of his teeth. Cube, if he was in Mega, would have been a very different story and maybe an ace or close to. So TT, lucky they didn't lose any more than their jungler, but the damage out of Strive this early on is too much to deal with.
Timing of Mega Death Rocket from iBoy was so good. Waiting so long until they weren't expecting it. And took it to the face, got the 1 kill, but that wasn't enough, to put anything meaningful into it just yet, as TT back on their aggression here into the enemy top side of the jungle.
All right, Mazel. Done. The 4K gold lead. And RA, they've got 2.5 items on both mid and AD, even top as well. They're just brute forcing their way in. But does RA, after opening up mid, do they start Baron early again? It's a poll.
Oh, no.
It should be a poll in Twitch chat as well. We should ask.
We should just get that going right now while we're waiting.
They'll get a lead, but not everyone will be dead. Ulti from UCal was pretty.
They're on to iBoy here. Concussive blow's not connected just yet, but iBoy is shut down by Puff. That's a huge catch out, and something we've seen happen in almost every game so far, Hysterics.
Why does iBoy do it? I mean, at this point, he's just mocking us, and even Cube now getting converged on by the whole of TT.
Look at the damage back on Anu, though. That was big, big damage, but
It's gone mega.
They have enough to finish him off. Yeah, they do have the Mega Gnar on to Cube, but as soon as Cube gets joined by the rest of the team, as tanky, but some Alco Gaming will do just fine. Mega Gnar ulti into the wall. They leave Cube all alone, though, and TT secure the kill. Another one for Puff, who is now 3-1.
Weren't confident on Leyan and Yuyanjia joining it without the damage, so you mentioned Puff, and yeah, the Caitlyn has been ahead all game, but now finally a bit more direct resources thrown in. I want to go back all the way to this because for RA's AD carry once again, a Strive's fine, but iBoy just a tad too forward. What more do we say? iBoy doing it every day, apparently.
Oh, barely stopped the buff back there with the Mega Death Rocket.
God, if it was closer to Dragon, it would be super clutch, but not going to mean too much in the log server things. They just want mid lane target. They just want to open up the map. Make it easier.
3 items for Puff now, and he also just bought a stopwatch.
It does feel like, you know, Puff is the person watching this next fight. I'd say it's still up to Cube's Mega Gnar. Big piece of engage alongside Yuyanjia, as package is there from Strive as well, so maybe a lot more to look at here from RA's side. As Dragon spawns up, this is going to be the third for both.
You need to be very careful now. Strive is here with the package. Oh my god, one rocket connects and the health bars immediately scatter from TT. One hits onto Chieftain, and now they're pushed back into the wave here. UCal on the side does have Shadow Surge available. If they can get a nice connection onto Strive or iBoy, that's the key to victory for TT.
And Strive's got one more big one in the pocket as well. So for RA, after the poke is done, they just start on the Dragon. They'll take it away. TT threatening up towards the Baron side. They want an ambush.
They might catch Cube over the wall, but not so just yet. The Winter's Bite did connect. Cube almost at the Mega Gnar threshold there, but holding it just nicely. So
again, we wait. TT threatening around the Baron. Like, it's just, we've been A-ramming.
8 kills in 27 minutes, but we've been in mid lane the whole time. I need more.
And they just want both mid lane towers.
We just have to ask for it. We just have to beg, and Yuyanjia will die for it. Puff gets a 4th kill of the game, and they turn immediately up towards the Baron to maybe bait out one of those catches just like they did.
Yuyanjia's been doing this all series. It's hard not to be critical of this man. A nice pick from TT is the Shadow Surge.
That's huge crescent guard from Leyan, though, to get them out of there. The tower will fall in the mid lane, though, and 5 members of TT will back away.
Again, we're going to look at the replay in the bottom right. Yuyanjia wants a hook against the turret, but really nice 90 caliber net from Puff. Means that he gets New instead, and that absolutely does nothing as Cube has now found New.
This is a 1v1 solo bolo for Cube potentially, as New in some trouble. Strive is right here. Flash from New gets him away, but now he's here. Strive is there as well. The rocket's not enough just yet. They can't get him. They can't get him. How is this happening? Puff gets his 5th kill of the game, and I'm getting deja vu from the game 1 of series. I'm flabbergasted right now, Hysterics.
TT being given windows back into this game. Cube is a unit, but when there's 4 people, it's not going to matter. Puff keeps picking up the resources, and we already saw the replay mid. Let's look at bottom side. He wanted to take the 1v1 with New, and absolutely he can, but on a reset, the whole of TT, bar UCal, actually drop what they're doing, come on over. And Cube now without an ulti in the rest of this engage means he can't do anything for Strive, he can't set it up, and SouthWind against the Corki is starting to really be utilized. So TT now only 2,000 gold behind, And at 29 minutes in the game, maybe it doesn't require a Baron. Maybe it just requires RA being RA. After 3 little pickoffs in a row, the game doesn't seem as truly done.
Puff is at 100% KP right now. I mean, we have not had
True.
a lot of kills in this game, but Puff, he's now 4 items in. He's literally 1 item away from a full build, Hysterics, and we're over 30 minutes in the game. That's terrifying. And the fact that but I do want to highlight, RA have that single target to focus at this point, right? Like, if they can get Puff caught out, which is few and far between so far in this series, is more difficult to do. See the Baron started here, and rest TPs coming in from RA. They want to fight for the Strive, not having the package there. Moving in slowly but surely. The Baron slowly going down itself. Leyan will get the ward in there as well. Cube still in the side lane.
I mean, buying time here for RA is beneficial. For TT, if they 50-50 this, God help me. Leyan on the back of the pit for the potential steal. Mazel.
Cube.
Here we go.
They've got the traps in line, though. Cube doesn't have Mega Gnar. Chieftain goes over the wall.
He
needs to reconnect it. He can't get back in, but the Gragas will secure it. Noob got the Baron. Can TT make it out alive now, though? Leyan with the Crescent Guard. Big Mega Gnar into the wall, and there's the damage on the backside. You got flanked by iBoy, a triple kill, and that's RA taking it.
Even though iBoy and Strive had the kills, ladies and gentlemen, Cube is 3-dimensional this series. He's getting huge ultis off, and every single time he's in a fight, massive impact ultimates. Big death timers as well, Mazel. I don't think it's going to be the game with New being able to deflect them, but for RA, a massive gold injection with a broken base. It's going to be up to Chieftain in 10 seconds.
Hey, it looked like they want to keep going, though. iBoy gets excited off of every tower, every structure that gets taken. They have the wave here crashing as well. The first Nexus tower about half out. They need to snowball this for iBoy, but here comes New. Here comes the reinforcements for TT. Their health bars just aren't existent, though. And Cube has Mega Gnar now. iBoy still alive, taking the fight against Chieftain, and RA have done it. RA will come back, and they will win this best-of-3 series and improve to 3-5 on the season.
These teams are going to be flipping burgers at McDonald's for the rest of the year. I'll tell you what, Baron is the enemy of all. There is nothing in this series that I would tell to my grandkids in 50, 60 years. I am scared they would have an aneurysm at the age of 12. Because for RA and TT is, wow, yeah, almost tilted. I don't know if that was Leyan on stage, almost tilting off his rocker. But while there have been some amazing plays, as a caster, they tell you, be professional.